episode of Heads of Display, your source of comprehensive reviews for some of the best and sometimes worst TV shows, movies, and video games around. I'm Allie.
And I'm Stephanie. And we're happy to announce this season of Heads Up Display can now be compared to amazing series like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Home Alone.
Okay, I'm all about taking pride in your work, but why do you say that? Also, Home Alone?
Well, all of those franchises have 5 episodes in them, so in a way, we're just like them.
But all of those are franchises. Eventually had more than 5 episodes.
Exactly.
Okay, so where's our millions of dollars in the box office revenue? I need to pay tuition somehow.
Good point. Well, there goes my happiness.
Cheer up, buddy. We'll probably have a whole double digits worth of people watching, maybe even triple digits.
I guess.
How about we get to those reviews, huh? Would you like that?
Yeah, okay.
Here's Simon with his review of Heroes Reborn.
Hi, I'm Simon. Heroes Reborn is a spin-off of the original Heroes TV show that last aired in 2010. It focuses on ordinary people using extraordinary abilities that fate had granted them to try and save the world. While it is exciting for fans of the original series to see familiar characters return, the addition of some new characters might be seen as either decent or completely out of place. The story, much like that of its predecessor, is large and complex. This has its successes, such as the returning characters being much more developed. However, like most complex plot lines, it also presents the opportunity for a multitude of plot twists that, if writers aren't careful, could be confusing. In terms of camera work and effects, the show frequently uses CGI mixed with other various effects. What the show does well is it takes risks with these effects and shines at bringing these powers to reality. But sometimes the use of those powers prove to be a bit underwhelming. Overall, Heroes Reborn actively attempts to capture its audience in a way that fans of the series can appreciate. However, newcomers might be easily discouraged as there is a considerable amount of subtext and character motivations that stem from the original series, making it easy for Heroes newbies to get lost. With that, Heroes Reborn scores 5 wormholes out of 10.
It's happening faster than we thought.
Hey everyone, I'm Allison.
And I'm Ryan.
Hey, we're bringing you 2 reviews of films that were produced by studios that are very prosperous in the film industry. Let's see how these new additions stack up to their respective studios' previous works.
Here's our reviews for Pixar's Inside Out and Eon Productions' Spectre. Inside Out follows the life of Riley, a young girl from Minnesota who loves hockey, her parents, and the happy life she has lived so far. Throughout the movie, we are taken inside the mind of Riley and are introduced to her emotions. There's joy, disgust, fear, anger, and sadness, who seems like a reincarnation of Eeyore. The emotions serve as receptors to the events that happen in Riley's life. Whenever something happy or sad happens to Riley, all of the emotions discuss and debate their opinions on the best way to handle the situation. When the emotions are in balance, Riley functions well as a person. When one is absent or too controlling, however, Riley acts out of the ordinary. The attention to detail in this movie is astonishing, and the way each part of the human mind is represented seems accurate and relatable. The voice actors for this movie were perfectly cast. With an ensemble of SNL veterans and comedic actors, the dialogue between characters is particularly enjoyable. Now, of course, Amy Poehler is simply wonderful bringing the character of Joy to life. This is one of the most beautiful stories that Pixar has brought to the screen. It will make you laugh, cry, and smile as the parallels between everyday family life remind you of your own childhood. It is perfectly accompanied by a lovely score, though. It was surprising that Randy Newman didn't compose it. Nonetheless, it is wonderfully employed. The animation and visual effects of Inside Out are incredibly breathtaking, proving again that Pixar reigns supreme in animation filmmaking. Since I couldn't find much to get angry or disgusted at, I joyfully give Inside Out a score of 9.7 out of 10.
You can't focus on what's going wrong. There's always a way to turn things around.
Spectre is the 24th and latest installment in the James Bond franchise. Directed by Sam Mendes, Spectre follows James Bond, played by Daniel Craig, and his entourage of MI6 agents, and along with the splattering of so-called Bond girls, all of whom are entangled in a rather intense story that barely comes to fruition by the end of a little less than 2.5 hours. At the beginning, all the elements of a Bond film are brought to the table. The long take that starts the film off is truly incredible and makes you hope the rest of the film would be just as enticing. Along with the fancy title sequence and the theme song performed by Sam Smith this time around, and his song Writings on the Wall, provides a looming eerie call that sets the mood for the film while not taking attention away from the visual effects in the opening. A good portion of the audience went to see Spectre because of Skyfall's success, also directed by Sam Mendes. But the skies are looking dark for the latest Bond installment. The actors did a decent job in portraying their characters, although there wasn't necessarily anyone in particular that stood out from the crowd. The camera work and visual effects seem uninspired at times, and the story seemed thin. And as said before, the film conducts in a lackluster way. While Spectre did surpass Skyfall's opening box office take, there's a lot to consider moving forward. Skyfall topped off the box office at $1 billion, and while Spectre has collected already $300 million in its first week, it's hard to say, based on the quality of the two films, if it will even get close to its predecessor's take. In truth, the first 7 minutes or so were the best portion of the film. The thoughtfulness and planning that went into creating such a beautiful take is enough to cause one to have to pick up their jaw from the theater floor. Long takes of such a length aren't very common, and to have one executed so wonderfully is what single-handedly puts the film's cinematography a step higher than what it may have been. With all that in mind, Spectre takes out 6 evil masterminds out of 10.
Hey guys, I'm Francis.
And I'm James. And that's Dan.
And we're going to be reviewing 3 games that are all unique and compelling titles.
Here's our reviews of Life is Strange, Galak-z, and Fallout 4.
Life is Strange is an episodic story created by Donut Entertainment that follows protagonist Maxine Caulfield in her return to Arcadia Bay. Max is your average girl pursuing her dream in photography at Blackwell Academy. Her ordinary life is interrupted, however, when time manipulation abilities awaken within her. As the game progresses, she explores newly found powers and begins to realize how they are both a blessing and a curse. The in-game mechanics, aside from one later exception, are not terribly innovative, but prove to be entertaining regardless. As an adventure game, Life is Strange combines puzzles with open-world environments and lovable characters to create a melting pot of creative outcomes and interactions. Max's rewind capabilities are essential to navigating throughout the world, getting information, and determining how the world reacts to her. Thanks to her abilities, decisions that would normally be permanent become adjustable, allowing players to view all possible outcomes of a situation. While this doesn't really inspire repeated playthroughs of the game, it does allow for players to view content that would have otherwise been missed. Music makes everything special, and Life is Strange is no exception. From waking up in the morning to clubbing at night, each track fits perfectly thanks to independent artists such as Sid Matters and Bright Eyes, who decorate each scene beautifully with their music. Combining mystery, beauty, and suspense, Life is Strange immerses players into a world where doing the right thing isn't always picture perfect. And for that, we give Life is Strange 9 good selfies out of 10.
I wish I could rewind back all the way to this day and change everything. Oh my God.
Revisiting the style of 80s-era mech anime such as Macross, and pairing it with a blend of challenging roguelike and shoot-'em-up gameplay, Galak-z delivers a nostalgic and wonderfully difficult experience. The player is thrust directly into Galak-z's retro-styled universe in the role of ATAC, who becomes the lone survivor of a devastating battle by escaping in a prototype space fighter, and is soon rescued by intelligence officer Beam. The pair then makes it their mission to return to Earth and warn it of the impending Imperial invasion. Along the way, the player is forced to engage the various hostile forces that inhabit the path back to Earth. In an obvious nod to Galak-z's roots, ATAC soon attains the ability to transform the fighter into a mech, complete with laser sword and shield. This quickly becomes an important part of combat, which is both fast-paced and incredibly intense. The sounds of Galak-z are what one would mostly expect from a space combat game. Ship explosions are a satisfying exclamation point to a hard-won battle, Beam and attack offer amusing pre- and post-mission banter, and enemies will taunt the hero during combat. Although this tends to happen on a too frequent basis, resulting in heavy reuse of the same clips. The music remains subtle while simply traveling through space, but accelerates in time with the combat, adding further tension to an already nerve-wracking experience. Due to the unrelenting difficulty, Galak-z is best enjoyed by those seeking a challenge. We give Galak-z 7.5 Crash Coins out of 10.
Fallout 4 comes so close to redefining the modern Western RPG. So close. As the 5th game in Bethesda Softworks' famous Fallout series, which has been around since 1997, it can't be overstated just how much the gaming public anticipated this game. The main story of Fallout 4 begins in a beautifully tragic way and continues to pull the player deeper into this wasteland that has no true identity. The player makes morally ambiguous decisions in this RPG and can choose which group and ideal they wish to support. The most interesting part of this is that no scenario or philosophy is ever one-sided, and the only certainty is the overwhelming amount of death, decay, and destitution around you. Once the vault door opens and you shield your eyes from the sunlight, the floodgates open. A gargantuan amount of side quests and an expansive world map to explore, along with the new but slightly finicky settlement and crafting systems, promise literally countless hours of gameplay. Speaking of gameplay, Fallout 4 has stayed pretty faithful to the past 3D open world RPG predecessors, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. However, Bethesda has implemented some tweaks to their respective systems that bring all of Fallout 4's gameplay elements and their connections to the environment to an all-time high. The sound design is breathtaking. The theme and score is a genius mix of tracks, ranging from somber orchestras playing epic, sweeping arrangements after each level-up plot point progression and clearing of a location, to jaunty 50s big band vinyl music that is headed by a comically awkward DJ. This, coupled with the game's brighter colors and varied environments, immerses the player from the very beginning. Replay value is seemingly limitless, as there are so many more opportunities to differ playstyles between different characters than there has ever been in any of Fallout 4's predecessors. The only real problems in Fallout 4 are the bugs and the frame rate issues. If you purchased the game on PC and had a large monitor, there was no full screen option. The only way to get full screen was to mod it or to thoroughly mess around in the game's files. Also on console, there have been reports of numerous frame rate issues. More times than wanted during gameplay, Wasteland NPCs zip about stuttering in and out of existence for brief seconds, or simply phase through staircases and walk on air. On more than one occasion, the game would crash or exhibit some odd graphic glitch after exiting a terminal. Thankfully, Bethesda has already made plans to correct these issues. Fallout 4 exhibits supreme detail where it matters, engrossing stories, meaningful player interaction and choice, brilliant sound, addicting gameplay, countless options for replayability, and the promise for even more content from Bethesda in 2016 and beyond. Unfortunately, some nagging bugs, port issues, and frame rate hiccups are just enough to take you out of the moment whenever they occur and remind you that you're only playing a video game, but have been for at least 6 or 7 hours. And with that, Fallout 4 gets a score of 9.9 Vault Boys out of 10.
Let's go, boy.
That's it for this episode of Heads Up Display. Thanks for watching.
And we hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Eat lots and be well. That's it from us. For now, I'm Allie.
And I'm Stephanie.
And this
has been
Heads Up Display.